is it Katie, Kate, Caitlin? Will it ever become Kate?
It's Katie, and there was a period of time when my brother like was really lobbying for me to change my name to Kate because he was like, it's more mature, like it's better career-wise. And my brother's like, he's not in the film industry, I just guess he had this opinion. And then I tried on Facebook to change it to Kate, and I didn't like it. It didn't seem like it was my name. So sometimes people call me Kate, but everyone calls me Katie, and I don't think that will change.
You're freaking me out a little bit right now. You have a book, a web series, a movie, and you do TV shows, and you're 26?
25.
25. It's shameful at this point. Like how are you doing so many things? I feel lazy.
Well, this is a good question because people ask me that a lot, and I actually don't feel like I do that much. Like I spend a lot of my day on Facebook. So I think that there are things that happened over a long period of time. Like I started writing that book 2 or 3 years ago.
But while you were at university, right?
When I was at university, yeah.
See, I didn't have time to write a book while I was at university.
Well, I didn't do a full degree. I kind of just took classes I thought were cool. So I guess the answer is there's a lot of, whether you're a writer or an actress, there's a lot of downtime in both careers. So it's not hard to find the time to do it. I do think though I'm a little burnt out now. So, you know, because on top of that, you have your personal life, which is always complicated too.
It's setting a quite high level of expectation or standards for yourself as a young woman. So the
Love you as an interviewer. You ask such good questions.
I'm just gonna put that on a continual loop now for
Yes, you should. It's so true. But sorry, anyways, continue.
No, but you do, and I see a lot of young female actresses or talents who don't set high standards for themselves or put high expectations. And I like a hustler. I like somebody who kind of gets in there, and even if it's not, well, I've never written a book before. Like my idea. Okay, so I have a plan for your future.
Oh, tell me, please.
Okay. So you've done this in your 20s. In your 30s, I think you're going to achieve everything you ever wanted to acting career-wise. When you're tired with that, in your 40s, you're going to like solve our environmental problems. And in your 50s, you will be ruling the world. So this is my trajectory based on I was, at university and writing books and, doing web series and movies and da da da.
That's really funny.
So I have high expectations of you. Tell me about yourself. Do you feel you've set your standard a little too high? Like you said, you're a little burnt out right now, and do you take a step back?
I'm a perfectionist, and I think I'm driven a lot by anxiety as opposed to necessarily what I feel like I want to do, if that makes sense. Like for the web series and the book and the movie and everything, like those are all things that I really want to do. But sometimes I wonder if I really force myself to work so hard so that I get some sort of like sense of self-esteem. And I think that that's probably not great. And that's something that I'm trying to figure out and work on, because I don't think that you can really derive a real sense of self-esteem from doing. At the same time, I think that I'm better when I'm busy, and I think that it's good to expect a lot of yourself, because I actually think that we're all capable of so much, and there's just a lot of people who aren't blessed with like having a mom like I do, or a support system like I have with my dad and my brother and stuff, who always told me I could do anything that I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I do see that. I see a lot of young women have a similar issue, but they don't channel it quite the same way.
Yeah.
And
I definitely went through times when I channeled it in a negative way. Like that's what Long Story Short is about. That summer where I feel like I did kind of lose it. But I think I'm lucky that I got a handle on it like relatively early in my 20s.
Yeah. So we're going to start unpacking a little bit. I think I wish I could be condescending and say everything you've done all these things yet, and they're total crap, but they're not. They're really good. You wrote a good book. You wrote a good web series. You did good in your mom's movie. Like it's a little, so let's start unpacking all of these great things, and we'll talk about them a little bit.
I feel great about myself in this interview.
I really would like to put you down, but it's a little hard at this point. So,
well. That's funny.
Actually, I think it's wonderful. I think it's fantastic. I think, you're setting a wonderful example, whether you want to or not. I think that you're putting something out there that's quite assertive and strong, and it's, you know, there's not many young ladies doing that right now. Long story short is your web series. So
Yeah.
you talked a little bit about the inspiration for that. Tell me how it came about, and yeah, tell us a little bit about how that developed.
Um, well, long story short, is based on a period in my life where I had just broken up with my first very serious boyfriend, and then I regretted it. So I was really heartbroken and really lost because he was very much like an anchor in my life. And I was drinking too much and dating a bunch of like losers, and which was like a learning experience. So it's based on that. And then I realized that there was a commonality in my experience and a lot of things that other women in their early 20s had gone through, with my girlfriends had gone through similar experiences. So I was like, this is interesting to me. Like, I felt so directionless at that point, but I was having a really great time. Like I do think back on that summer fondly. So I was like, well, could I make that a web series? And my mom said to me, the Independent Production Fund, which funded Long Story Short, was looking for projects. So I was like, well, what about, that period of my life? And, I'd written some essays about it. And I was like, so what about if we made those like a series? What do you think? She was like, yeah, sure, try it. So then we did it. And I think that we were lucky because I had written them all before Girls came out, but the show came out after Girls.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
So we were really lucky in that sense because it sort of like hit at a time when there was already another show that was very, very successful that could be like an immediate point of comparison. So
Yeah.
people were like, oh, cool, I like Girls, or oh, this is similar to Girls, or.
Right. So I thought it was, wonderful you had Adam Butcher as the. I know.
Such a good actor. Yeah.
He needs, I'm really thrilled with the new series he's got going on because I do think he's fabulous and he's rather handsome and
very handsome.
Rather handsome. And I thought he was a perfect suitor, but he was doing you so wrong in this show. He was he was quite horrible to you.
Yeah.
Tell me about getting your cast together. You have a couple of awesome friends on. I'm assuming they're real friends.
Real friends, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about bringing the cast on.
I kind of had a sense when I was writing it of everyone that I could picture doing it. And so I just wrote people like Facebook messages or emails or texts being like, I'm doing this web series. Can I send you the script? I think that you should play this part. And then luckily, like everybody said yes. I didn't hold auditions because I think that's kind of insulting to like ask people that their work and them really well to audition for something I had written. It's just me. I'm like, I would never ask that. But yeah, luckily they all I got these amazing, talented people who were such a get in so many ways. Also as a producer, so I was just felt so lucky and shocked that people wanted to do it.
Yeah. Where do you see the show going? Like I can see it could translate easily to television.
Yeah.
Was this just an experiment? Was it like a card to show for television stations and networks and saying, hey, this is what could be done with it, and there is an interest there? Or what was your perceptions on that?
It's interesting. For me, it really started as an experiment and also as sort of a card to be like, well, I want to see if I could write a show or a web series or this kind of drama. Mm-hmm. And then it turned into something different. And now Shaftesbury's distributing it. We're having a bigger launch in the States that I can't talk about exactly where yet, but it's exciting. And so I think maybe it could have a different life now. Maybe there is some interest for it being on television, and there is interest in us doing a season 2, whether that's online or on TV. So it turned into that, which was like one of the biggest surprises for me.
Mm. How was it writing nuggets? These are like little 3 to 5 minute segments, and it can be hard sometimes to translate everything you want to. You don't have a half hour to tell that story of that one episode. So
yes,
what was that? Was that challenging?
It was in a sense, but I really kept it to exactly what happened to me in a lot of ways. So I didn't have to the storyline with Michael Cedar isn't true. I didn't have a friend who was in love with me. But everything else with dating is pretty much essentially true. So I didn't have to make that much stuff up.
Mm.
So I think for season two, it will be more challenging because I think instead of following the path my life has taken now, I need to follow these characters that these actors have created and give an audience, you know, what they are expecting of the show and looking for. So keeping it sort of short wasn't as challenging as I thought. I actually think that since it was completely based on me and my real experiences, I didn't have to be that creative.
You just took notes.
Yeah, I was like, and then remember that guy and remember this happened. And I felt like this.
Let's talk about Eat Your Heart Out.
Eat Your Heart Out is a collection of short stories that I wrote, and they are thematically about heartbreak, I think, if I was like to pinpoint a theme. And yeah, I started writing when I was taking university courses because I was frustrated with acting. I was like, I want to try something, you know, I wish I had got more jobs, and it was a lower period in my career, and I want to try something different. And then again, it surprised me. It turned into something bigger than I thought it would.
Mm. And you take on these different, the infinite variety of the characters that you take on. I mean, in the first one, it was a man in his 40s that you were telling the story from, and yet there was a 17, almost 18-year-old girl in the story. So why not take from the 18-year-old girl? Why were you taking? I found that really interesting right off the bat.
Um, what was inspiring to me at that point when I was writing those stories was I would meet someone and I would think like, fuck, that's an interesting character.
Yeah.
Or that one part of his personality is so crazy and I really want to explore that. So I had met someone very similar who seemed to like very unaware of how they actually came across, but while thinking that they were like super aware. Mm-hmm. And I thought that that was an interesting dynamic. And I felt like that was the character that spoke to me. This also sounds kind of weird, but when I'm writing, like I hear voices talk to me. It's not like, I don't feel like I choose what perspective I'm telling it from. It's like, it just comes through me.
Mm. Okay. And so you just thought this was, you kind of dabble in a few different aspects of the arts. So
yeah.
You really, I don't know, dabble, that's not the right word.
No, but I do. That's how I feel. I do.
It's just, I'm really committed to writing a novel, and I'm like in my 40s. You know what I mean? It's like
when Are you in your 40s?
When in my 40s, when I figured things out,
Oh, I thought you told me just now you were in your 40s.
No.
What?
No. I'm not there yet. So I can't write a novel because I'm not in my 40s. You're in your early 20s and you're at university. I mean, I wouldn't have even dreamt of taking on something. So I feel like to say dabbling is like a little of an understatement.
No, I mean, it is that. I mean, I think also like it's a strength and a weakness in my personality, but like I do things before I necessarily feel ready just because I want to.
Yeah.
So like I've been writing a novel for the past 2 years that has like gone through many revisions that I'm having a hard time with, but it's because I felt like I was like, I feel like I have to write a novel now and I want to, but I don't know that I was like ready necessarily as a writer. And I do that a lot in like personal relationships too. Like I'll be like, I feel like I should be really serious with this guy. And then afterwards I'll be like, why did I feel like I wasn't ready for that? I don't like thinking that I like can't do something. And I will do something even when I know I can't because I don't want to feel like I can't do it.
That's really interesting.
It's a little bit crazy, but yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the movie. What was it like? Okay, so the movie's called Looking is the Original Sin.
Yeah.
And your mom wrote and directed it, and it's about a mother-daughter relationship, and the mother was a photographer, and the daughter is struggling to figure out who she is herself within this dynamic of her mother and her mother's own creativity and such. Now, I spoke to your mom a bit about this, and we've got an interview with her, which was fantastic. But tell me kind of, it's the story of, I'm sure there are moments in it that are very much your relationship with your mom, but also divide greatly. Tell me about kind of what aspects there were that were kind of communicated as far as the mother-daughter relationship goes.
Um, well, the aspects that were similar is like obviously my mom and I are very close and we share a lot with each other, and I think that our relationship is one of the most important relationships in each of our lives, and that we are depend on each other and um, spend time together in a way that maybe isn't typical for mother daughters. And the way that it is, and obviously, like we share a lot about creativity, but the way that it is different is the mother in this film is mentally ill, and my mom isn't. And I never felt like I was my mom's parent, which I think Anna, my character in the film, does feel about her mother.
Mm. Do you feel like your mom was mom on set or mom director or just all director on set?
I mean, mom director, because I feel like now I never felt like there was that it was like a different relationship, that our working relationship was different from our personal relationship. Like we talked about everything in the same breath, which I thought was like actually uh, very healthy. Like I never felt like, okay, this is work mom and this is like mom mom. It was just like always mom.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know anything different, but for me, it's never felt weird working with my mom. It just feels like normal
Mm.
and much safer than with other people.
Let's talk about your most recent television endeavor. You were on Rain, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yes.
And so tell us a little bit about your character and is she in for I want a little bit of a scoop. Are we going to see a little bit more of you or
You are going to see more of me.
good?
I can't really say I can't say very much. Also because it's interesting working on an American show. I don't have very much information.
Yeah.
Like they don't tell me anything, pretty much essentially before I get the script, the shooting script. I don't get scripts for episodes that I'm not in, so I don't have that much information, um, really. But you do see more of me, and it's interesting. And I mean, it's been. I can publicly say that my character has like a disfigured face, so the makeup is cool and interesting.
Okay, because that's what I needed to know. I wanted to know if we got to see a little bit more of you, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
What did the Zach files teach you about acting?
Ooh.
Because you did 49 episodes. This was
Yeah, and I
something.
did before that another kids show where I did like the same amount of episodes, which is like crazy because I haven't worked on anything for like a long stretch like that in
Yeah.
like years. So I can't even remember what that feels like. But um well, it taught me well for the Zach Files, like I was really close to the cast members because we were all 12 and we spent all our time together. So it taught me the importance of like being close to people that you work with. And I also think it instilled a certain work ethic in me because I was working almost every day. I was also in school at the same time. And I was a child. So it was,
There
and
was that.
I feel comfortable as an adult, like balancing a lot of different things.
Okay, good. What was the name of the series that you were in when you were younger that did a lot of
It's called
episodes?
Naughty. It's Noddy, like based on the Enid Blyton character.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Naughty.
you would know, yeah.
So you see the Hollywood perspective, you see the indie perspective. What do you like about both of them? And do you like that balance? Do you like kind of going back and forth?
You know, I really do like going back and forth. I think from the Hollywood perspective or shows with money is what I say. There's something very nice about being able to make films in television shows in a comfortable way, like to have a trailer and for things to go a little slower, for the food to be good. There's something that's comfortable and really nice about that. And then I really like the immediacy and the sort of feeling of like jumping off a cliff that you get when you're doing something independent or yourself. And like when you're with a lot of other actors in that situation, you feel like you're all in it together. So there's a closeness, I think, on independent things that you don't, or that I don't experience as much on shows with money.
I love
Yeah.
that. That is a new divide. Canadian movies and shows with
Shows with
money.
money. Yeah, yeah.
Although I do have to say, Rain is a co-pro, so
Yes.
yay for some money.
Yeah.
um, Now you do have a tendency to play. Now this surprises me because
Yeah.
kind of knowing you peripherally and speaking with you now, you seem like a very, and like I said, a very intelligent, assertive woman. And you have a tendency to, even though you're young, you have a tendency to play characters who are seem like a little bit, um, like I don't know, what's the word I used here? Mm, little lost young women. Well, lost like I was looking for my word. But no, you do have a, is that something, now this intrigues me, is this something that you're kind of given roles for because you're young? Or is this something that you're exploring in the roles you're taking on?
Um, yeah, I think that quality is something that is very present in a lot of roles for young women. I think that that's a story that's told a lot. I think that that's like that kind of conflict of, what do I think about the world? What do I want? Those greater questions are, I guess, it's many coming of age stories are
Mm.
told. And what else is interesting is I don't really choose roles. I do the jobs people like that I audition for and I get. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like especially in Canada, there's not so much a sense of like you're not able to plan a career necessarily. You just hope that you get lucky and I say yes to things people offer me. you know. So I don't know that it's like a conscious choice either to play roles like that. Um, but it's interesting. I can't say that I can't think of a lot of roles I played that I would compare necessarily like to myself.
Hmm.
I guess long story short would be the closest because it's based on myself, but I'm not really like that anymore.
If you could play certain characters or roles, or is there a character that springs to mind that you absolutely love, that's out there? What kind of characters would you like to play, or that you'd like to be presented with? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hopefully,
Yeah.
there's some directors watching.
Um, I mean, like for like Kate Winslet's role in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that's like my favorite movie. But also that character I thought was so just fascinating. So
Yeah.
I think women like that are very interesting, that are so like layered and in a piece in a movie that's about something so universal. And so many amazing themes. So I think that that's interesting. And then also I think a lot of what's happening on like the cable television in the States is like phenomenal. Like Claire Danes' role in Homeland. Like I'm very interested in mental illness, and I would like to explore like a mentally ill character more in the future. I mean I really am interested in doing anything. Like I like everything kind of equally. There's always like a challenge and something that you fall in love with in every character. So I would be there's not one specific thing that I really want to try. I just hope that I get to keep working in different kinds of roles.
Mm. Well, you're off to a good start, I may say. So, what have you got coming up that's really exciting? More rain.
More rain. I'm in a film called Drontraphilia that was at TIFF in Venice this year that's opening in the new year. And it's a really, I really like the movie, so I'm excited. Um, and what else? Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Rain and that are the main things that I should talk about. And then, Sex After Kids is going to open soon, so that's cool. And I wrote a short film that my friend Mark O'Brien, who's on Republic of Doyle, directed.
Oh, he's so funny.
He's so funny, I know. It's based on a short story that's in my book called Sweetie Face, and I'm really pleased with how the short film turned out. And it's nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Short, and Best Actress at the Hamilton Film Festival. So that's
Oh, very nice.
yeah. Mark and I for doing that. Yeah, most of the work, but
That's irrelevant. Take credit for it, Katie. Take credit.
yeah, yeah. And my mom and I are starting a company, and we're pitching a lot of shows now for actual TV. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens in that world as well.
I'm excited. Do you have a name for your production company yet?
Oh, I'm taking suggestions though. Good one. Tell me.
I think I'll message you on that one. But yeah, You definitely something about the red lipstick, because your mother loves the red lipstick
I
too.
know, we love the lipstick.
Yeah, yeah. Katie
That's
Boland
a
red.
good idea. That's actually a really good idea. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think
Yeah.
about the lipstick thing.
So, well, best of luck for the future.
Thank
Please
you
keep.
so much. You're so great at your job. We're so lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Like your interviews are amazing and so thorough and so well thought out. And like you are a wonderful journalist, and we're lucky to have you in the Canadian film industry.
Thank you so much. I just know what I love, and I love the Canadian film industry, and I wanted to do better. And we want to hear about what you're doing and how you're progressing. And anytime you can give us the scoop on the Canadian Film Review, we'd love it.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much.
I am wearing Katie Boland red today, just for you.
You look beautiful in it.
I
love red lips.
I know. But I actually have to say, in long story short, you had a scene where you woke up the next morning, you still had red lipstick on.
I know.
Go, girl!
I was like, is that realistic? And I was like, yes, when I wake up in the morning, my lips are so red.